And it is Monday, so joining us now, Meghan McCain, Mondays with Meghan, host of Citizen McCain and daughter of the late, great Senator John McCain. Hi, Meghan. How are you?
Hi. Thank you guys for having me. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I'm supposed to say that, not you. All right, go ahead. You say it.
Happy Monday, Meghan.
Monday.
Thank you.
Appreciate having you.
Hey, Meghan, you know, you're pregnant with your third child.
Yes.
And
How far along are we, by the way?
Yeah.
6.5 months. I'm very fat.
Oh, gosh.
Trust me, it's fine.
RFK Jr. says don't take Tylenol.
I know,
It'll cause autism.
I know.
Is he full of a bunch of crap? Because I think he's full of a bunch of crap.
So I talked to my pediatrician because I obviously got freaked out. And she said that, you know, there's still no indicator. I also I don't know how much you guys want about my personal life, but I'm fully vaccinated. My children are fully vaccinated in the normal rollout. I didn't change anything because I didn't go to medical school and I'm not a doctor and I trust my doctor. So I'm very concerned about this and I'm also very confused. I don't really understand. I personally, one of the things that RFK came out saying too is like, you shouldn't give your children Tylenol. When my children have had fevers, I've given them Tylenol, like they're fine. Not that it's really anyone's business, but my children are not autistic and it'd be fine if they were, they just are not. And they're vaccinated and I gave them Tylenol and I've taken Tylenol in my last pregnancies. So, you know, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a researcher. I don't work for NIH, but I don't honestly know what to believe. And it's a horrible situation to be pregnant and in this moment. But I have an appointment with my OBGYN coming up this week and it's something I'm going to bring up. But you know, I shouldn't have to do this. Like it's very confusing and really overwhelming. And I find the anti-vax movement incredibly dangerous.
Well, if I can chime in, I certainly echoing what you're saying, Meghan, but it's difficult to trust people who have been anti-science all along that suddenly they now have science or claim they have science that fits their beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, I have compassion for people who have been radicalized since COVID. You know, that was a very intense time for everyone. And again, like not to give you too much information, but like I was medically impacted by my COVID vaccine. My menstrual cycle completely changed and I got totally panicked and like convinced myself that like I couldn't have children. Apparently it's a very common side effect from the COVID vaccine. I thought the COVID vaccine meant that I would never get COVID again. Then I got it like 6 weeks later. And so I have compassion for people who are skeptical about things that we were told during the COVID era that's not true. But as a general rule, I am trusting of doctors and scientists. I just am. And I'm grateful for vaccines. And I that's just my personal political belief. Somehow I'm surrounded by tons of MAHA people and I never got on the bandwagon. And I don't know. My mom works with a lot of third world countries, and she always tells me one of the things they always are begging for are vaccines.
Yeah, because they know what the lack of them does.
Mondays with Meghan. Meghan McCain is joining us. So acetaminophen was, I guess, discovered, 100 years ago. So we didn't have anybody with autism past 100 years. We've only had killed kids with autism for 100 years. What a load of garbage that is. There have been kids who have been maybe not diagnosed back in 1900 with autism, but like how everybody said, Thomas Jefferson was on the spectrum. A lot of people said Albert Einstein was on the spectrum. A lot of people said Mozart was on the spectrum. It's like, what? Just when acetaminophen came into play 100 years ago, that's it? Yeah. We've never had a child with autism before.
Hard to believe.
1900? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and also, there's plenty of people that have autism. Like my mother was a special needs teacher before she met my dad and like has worked with the Special Olympics. And like, I don't like this like idea that having autism is like the worst thing that could ever happen to you. And this like fear mongering. And again, I don't know what it's like to have a child with autism. So I have compassion, but there's a real obsession, and there's been a lot of commentary and chatter on social media. Like, there's a real obsession with autism with this administration, which, again, maybe that's just because there's a group of people in the country, there's like a high-level group of people in the country that want answers for it. But I agree with you. Like, Elon Musk, who's the wealthiest person in the country and the most successful, it talks about how he is on the spectrum and he's autistic. And I just So I just feel like there's a weird stigma about it too, and like we should have compassion for people on all realms of the spectrum. And yes, again, like I'm not saying different, but one of the things President Trump said today in his press conference as well was that Amish people are not autistic, and apparently that's also a lie.
Of course,
No.
it's a
as
lie.
well.
Yeah.
Wait a
So
minute, he
I just-
lied?
Yeah.
No,
It's
but
ridiculous.
I find it very frustrating. I also, I have friends that work for NIH. My dad was treated for cancer at NIH. They were incredible. And I just think a lot of these doctors and researchers really go to the ends of the earth to try and find cures to cancer and cures to all these diseases. And anyone who's ever had any medical crisis, which I've had a few small ones, you're just so grateful for medical caregivers and nurses and doctors. And I don't know. I just don't know why RFK thinks he knows more than someone who went to Yale.
Because he's an idiot.
He had brain eat
He's-
part of his work.
He's
Good at
dangerous.
that.
He's an anti-vaxxer. He's dangerous.
He's anti-science.
He should not be in that position, and it's a joke that he's in that position.
That's why you can't trust him.
And he scared pregnant women today, and you're one of them, Megan. And I think that's terrible because science doesn't back this up. You know who was there at the press conference today? Dr. Oz. Do I want to take my medical advice from Dr. Oz? Absolutely not. No. He's a moron as well. I mean, come on! It's RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz. Give me a break.
Wait till you
You've
hear
got
what
to be
Dr. Phil
kidding
has
me.
to say about it. Careful.
I mean, come on. Anyway.
I mean, for as much as we all have disagreed the past few weeks, we all seem to be in agreement on this one.
Here. All right.
All right, let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel. He's back on the air, Megan. What do you
By the
think?
way, apparently telling people I'm fully vaccinated is controversial, which I didn't even realize the
It's
first time I
not.
did it. And I was like, yeah, my kids are fully vaccinated, so am I.
Well, smart.
No.
They are.
It's called
I
educated.
don't want them to get
Appreciate it.
polio.
Yeah. That's good. That's positive. Yes.
Anyway.
Hashtag no polio.
Jeez.
Yeah. Solid argument.
Megan, Jimmy Kimmel back on the air tomorrow. What do you think happened? Do you think?
Yeah, what's the behind the scenes on that?
Somebody from the administration called and said, "Put your thumb on that guy."
So I can't decide on this one because I do think there's obviously probably some pressure because the head of the FCC went on Benny Johnson's show and was somewhat threatening Jimmy Kimmel. I did not like and I found offensive the things he said about Charlie Kirk. But I also know from my time at ABC, and I was actually thinking you guys probably have had this experience as well, working in radio, you are really at the mercy of your affiliates. And Sinclair affiliates pulled out and still have said, it just came out right before I came on, they're still not planning
Still not going to run it.
They're still not going to run his show. And Sinclair is known to be a very conservative, outlet of places that carry ABC in very red areas of the country. And I just know from my time at The View, it's very important you keep those affiliates happy. And I just think any affiliate can choose not to run to not run any show or program they want that their audience won't like. I don't like that they've turned Jimmy Kimmel into some kind of free speech martyr. I think it's ridiculous. And Senator Ted Cruz had some really great commentary, I think, on that conservatives cannot be hypocrites when it comes to free speech absolutism. And now, like I said, Jimmy Kimmel's in a much larger power position than he was 2 weeks ago. But I'm going to see where the affiliates fall. And I've heard a lot of interesting gossip about just where he's at. And if I were him, I would just be nice, but I don't know if he's going to do that.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because we were having that conversation. So he comes back on the air tomorrow night. The lights go up, the theme song plays, whatever, and he stands there. Is he going to be contrite? Is he going to apologize? Is he going to go guns a-blazing?
Well, all the reports that came out in there's this wonderful CNN journalist, Elizabeth Wagmeister, who covers entertainment, who said he had a very contentious meeting with ABC executives and was very defiant. So I would just expect him to sort of be angry. I respectfully, I do not watch any late night TV at all, and I haven't in such a long time. I can remember having this conversation with you guys about Stephen Colbert, and
Sure.
I don't want my politics in the time when I don't have to talk about politics. And I think that's where he's gone awry too. And he's a progressive figure now, and he's not
He's a hero.
comedian, not just a host. Yeah. So, I'll be curious to see if they renew his contract, which is apparently up very soon.
Yeah.
His actual long-term contract.
Meghan McCain is joining us. You tweeted this, I believe, Sunday. Today is the day Democrats lost 2028. What do you mean?
Oh, yeah. People are so mad about that.
You got him
People are
worked up.
mad at
All
me
right.
about my tweets. I know.
Let's
I
dive into
literally
that.
was I should start going through Gaydos and Bruce's tweets and seeing what they did. And you guys are much more tame on Twitter than I am. I just thought that, in this moment, and it's interesting, right before I came on, Politico just released an article that was talking about how Democrats do not know how to talk about Charlie Kirk, and they don't know how to talk about this moment. and they don't know how to combat it. And I think we see, people like Jasmine Crockett going on TV, getting a lot of attention, for really just like trashing Republicans and trashing conservatives. And I think unless Democrats get a hopeful message, because hope always wins in elections, and people who are always looking towards the future. And I think if Democrats can't get past just hating Trump, I don't think they have a chance of winning. And Harry Enton just had some interesting polling that came out today saying the midterms are far from lockdown. Democrats still have a lot of problems with messaging, even on the economy, and people still don't trust the party. And, when you think of a leader, I can think of like many different people in the Republican Party that I could see being the nominee in 2028. And I don't really see it on the Democrat side. Granted, I should never get ahead of myself and make predictions, but I don't know. Can you guys see? Is there any figure that you see on the left right now that you're like they can combat this movement?
I think if Trump keeps acting the way he is, it's going to be AOC. People are going to turn completely the other way. Absolutely. Yeah, wow. And I'm scared of that.
She's 35, and
Yep.
I don't see. I think Newsom is at the top of their list.
But if you want to take people's, First Amendment rights away, if you're going to start making phone calls and muzzling late night hosts, the country's going to go the other way, and we're going to go far the other way. And I don't want to see that either. I also didn't like that Trump said, "I hate my opponents." I thought that was supposed to be, more of a goodbye for Charlie Kirk and not all about Donald Trump yesterday. It's a rallying
you thought
MAGA.
He wouldn't make it about himself?
Of course I did.
Where are you?
Rallying MAGA against his political opponents.
Yeah.
Like, the guy doesn't know time and place, Megan. There's no doubt about it.
How was the energy in Phoenix and Glendale for you guys? Did you have any experience with anyone going to the funeral?
I had some friends go, but they went, and
I live on the other side of town, Megan. Sorry, I'm a East Sider. I'm nowhere near it.
I was like, are you East Side?
Yeah, Apache Junction. Careful. Sorry.
I don't.
I won't tell people where you live. Don't worry.
Thank you, Megan.
I actually thought that Tucker Carlson's comments were. I mean, I didn't like what Trump said either, just because I think it's a time for leadership and just being solemn. But I actually thought Tucker Carlson looked like a maniac. Like, he looked so crazy to me, and he was laughing and that Pennywise clown laugh that he does. And he said something that I and many people have interpreted as very anti-Semitic. And I agree with you. Like, I think funerals are very solemn, and I thought some of it was so beautiful and so amazing, like Charlie Kirk's wife, and then I thought some of it was inappropriate.
Yeah, I think
you guys did.
I think it's fair. I think a lot of people thought, well, it was going to be a memorial for Charlie Kirk, but then they're selling merchandise and there's pyro, and it's like, is it a show or is it a funeral? I don't know.
Well, he was a showman, and he loved big events. I never went to a Turning Point event, but I know that they were like that with like pyrotechnics, and everyone said it's what he would have wanted, which I totally, understand. People like grieve in different ways. I personally could never show up to a funeral in anything but black either. Like, I saw people, and again, everybody do what you have to do.
Right.
Do what you think is best. But, yeah, I agree with you. And I think there's mixed. I think most people think it was beautiful and think it was solemn, but I agree with you. Did not like the comments that President Trump said and Tucker Carlson said. And I think there's a few other things from speakers that I didn't recognize that I think were more political than anticipated.
Well, I can just tell you, not that I'm planning it, but we will be selling merch at my funeral.
Geez.
So I'm just going to let you know. There will be a merch table, and
you're terrible.
Just want to make sure that you guys know that's how we're going to take it.
All right, Megan, we'll see you next Monday. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Mondays with Megan. Every Monday at 5 o'clock, we get a chance to talk to Meghan McCain. Appreciate you spending.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.